on page number 10, each verse will recite 2 times in Tibetan, all the way to page number 12, and page number 13, mandala offering will say just 1 time, and afterward we'll say in English each verse 1 time, and I will let you the number. And after this, we will chant foundation's prayer. In English, on page number 11, I take refuge in the Guru, I take refuge in the Buddha, I take refuge in the Dharma. I take refuge in the Sangha. From now until my enlightenment, refuge in the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. And by the merit created in this practice, may I attain the state of Buddhahood for the benefit of all sentient beings. May all sentient beings enjoy happiness and causes. May all sentient beings be free from suffering and causes. May all sentient beings never be separated from joyful bliss. May all sentient beings embody equanimity, feel bias, attachment, and anger. This ground, anointed with perfume, strewn with flowers, encircled by the four continents, surmounted by the sun and the moon, I visualize this Buddha field and offer it. May all living beings enjoy Idam Guru Rana Medala Kameya Daya Foundations prayer on page number 14. We'll say whole prayers in Tibetan first, and afterward we'll say in English. So je den ba lam je ca wa ru le bar do ne be ba du ma yi gu ba chen bu den bar chen je Long be da we den son de she do nye ga don che she chur nye se gon do nye wo le be lo jo che me pa che war che je lo so yo wa chu ye chu bu shen yo do je be che wa den ba dong She be je so lu da te ma shen kar na le de che shen chang wa la nye bo den bo nye ne nye le ze ka zhan cha wa nan jiang gong dong ge so ta da ru bar che ba la da du ma da de bar chen je lo Jie be me mo de nu ge ji gu ye de me ro se be pon zo je nie me re tar ve de wa la do ye chen bo je war chen je lo na da sa ba de ye zhang wa ye zhen da xie xian ba yu chen bo ye 等别早我所
sur thar wa ru nyen bu she war she lo rang ye su zo long wa jie shen du Nhớ cho chúa đền trong đền trào thọ niên trô trô về cơ chế trong cho sen cho trong vợ trên lộ sen zon je zhang zu zhen nang sun na gong ba me na chang zhu zhu bar le bar tong ne ya se dong ba na 总班长罗本先结罗罗贝有老杨我谢谢长杨大东那自然中白谢列拉东松的这位郎，有的人接我前结罗，多么难将我的指望那。大白根的手指多吉他，嘎桑杰维杰我当巴德，的那年的这个是年路。thế thế nghe đồ na nhé đồ bê zhe am to tam se dom bơ song na che ma me be nghe wa nhé jer ni so da de de song bar chen chen lo ne yer de nyong wo re nie che na na je zhen do ne zong ba yi 德贤难知周列没有当别松这不贤解路。德郎上东别些年郎。 自现着别着南下边疆，这大那夜晚都就别走，夜晚些晚些夜忙的走。 解王冠都扬到了马当，这面去解把那龙主角，撒当南解有 chanji do sho
Uh, now the we will say foundation prayer in English. So each verse will say this slowly, and I request you to analyze and on the meaning as deeper as you can. On page number 15. Yeah, maybe we can read that.
Foundation prayer on page 15. The foundation of all good qualities is the kind and venerable Guru.
Correctly devoting to him is the root of the path. By clearly seeing his line and great effort, please bless me to rely upon with great respect. Understanding that the precious freedom of this river is found only once is greatly meaningful and difficult to find again. Please bless me to generate the meaning
Unceasingly,
day and night.
take its essence.
This life is as impermanent as a water bubble. Remember how quickly it decays and death comes. After death,
The
the
effects
effects
of black and white karma pursue us as a shadow follows the body.
finding firm and definite convictions in this. Please bless me
Always to be
careful to
to
avoid
abandon even the slightest negativities, and to accomplish all virtuous deeds. Seeking
the pleasure of samsara leads to all suffering. They are uncertain and cannot be relied upon. Recognizing these shortcomings, please bless me to generate a strong wish for the bliss of liberation. That this pure thought, mindfulness, alertness, and great conscience arise. The root of teaching is keeping the Pratimoksha vow.
Please bless me to accomplish this essential practice. Having seen that all beings, my kind of
Mothers have fallen like myself into the oceans of samsara. May I train in pursuing Nirishata and bear the responsibility of feeding
all migratory beings. If I develop bodhicitta without practicing the three types of morality, I will not achieve enlightenment. With my clear recognition of this, please bless me to practice the bodhisattva vows with great energy. By pacifying distractions to wrong objects and correctly analyzing the meaning of reality, please bless me to generate quickly within my mind stream the path uniting calm abiding and special insight. Having become a pure vessel by training in the general path, please bless me to enter the holy gateway of the fortunate ones, the Vajrayana, the highest of vehicles. The basis of accomplishing the two attainments is keeping pure vows and commitments. Having become firmly convinced of this, please bless me to protect these vows and pledges with my life. Having realized the importance of the two stages, the essence of the Vajrayana, by practicing with great energy, never giving up the 4 sessions, please bless me to realize the teachings of the Holy Guru. May the Gurus show the noble path and the spiritual friends practice it at long lives.
Please
Please bless me to pacify completely all outer and inner hindrances. In all my lives, may I never be separated from the perfect gurus and the magnificent Dharma. By completing qualities of the stages and paths, may I quickly attain the state of Vajradhara.
딱 그땅 근데 라브람 세고 라브람 세 돈도 가르서거든 소소 지금 로기는 뭐일 찍지는 이진지는 로기는 람 로사가 람칸로 된데 지고 사지 대 돈도 직시해 버리지 다 나도 지금 지금 빌람세한테 공부점니다 지금 뭐 지금 선택고 거든 단단히 같은 때 말해 모두 샘나 선로 땅때 년지 삼지 웜지 등이 비 수지라 기내는 봐야 공부하지 시고르지 네 로사 먹일때라 니 요르지 타르와동 탐지 캠비 공부하서 이 시고르지 상지 공부하는 식다
The so the recitation we just chant, which it's really introduce or they talk about the practice of the lamrim, and basically, so lamrim is the it's show the or it introduce the each step of the or the path of the practice, and on the path of the practice introduce the step by step or what are the meaning of this and how we can analyze and face this all the practices, and so this is what we call the lamrim, and lamrim in general. Well, when we say the lam, which is the path, which we take often, which we often take the path to reach the certain destinations, and but here is the more like the practice that can subdue one's mind and change oneself, and through this the path of the lamrim, our ultimate goal is the liberation and the Buddhahood.
Okay, so that been or term yin professor chakli jingina tel bando jin the chwani zong ter bi jang ni tama de lebo na jin da 상지 공부 단 탐지 공부 도와라 르베 진이다 람가 장네티 상지 공부 도고 요르지 저때 시고르지
So the so everything is the very similar that what we experience in reality. In reality, we often take the path and road to reach the certain destinations, but in this path of the learning, is our destinations will be attaining the Buddhahood and the liberations, and also other example in our daily life or in general. We at the beginning we go to school, and where we the 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 professor di khalange
그래서 공방지 도고나
네.
도고나 델라를 맞지니 로드 총원이 늘 맞지 다 총그라 나오지
For example, if someone's attend the professor degree, and he or she need to practice or study at the very beginning from the school all the way to the university, and similarly, if one's want to achieve that certain the levels of the liberations and the Buddhahood, of course, we need to start from the very beginning in order to achieve the goal we wish.
진짜다 당복 안 하고 지 돌로도 타신 거 나라 당복 개인 같이 보러 왔대 진짜다 니는 당복 어떤 개인 같이 보러지 lamto tena yonde tsika tangpo tela yonde kinchi chinchi sinde balan chi tsawar lawbar tongde baba tama kiwa chimbo tembar shinje lo sito genchi tsa chimbo re yezi gen ka chimbo tela teni kari china ti geki yonde yonkin nyanji yonde teni chiki yin tenchini ti geki rangi nyan chini rangi nyan jo teni samlo tang chini guam chini susu gila ki tab songa na ta shinlabazi namda kep song tere yezi
Mm. And so whether we receive the uh, the worldly educations or the worldly educations or the spiritual educations, and it clearly shows that one's need to follow or define or the relying on the master or the teacher, guru. And so when we chant the foundation prayer, begin with the introducing the how important guru and the master is. Now, so it says the foundation of all good qualities is the kind and venerable guru. Correctly devoting to him is the root of the path. By clearly seeing this and applying great effort, please bless me to rely upon him with great respect. And so when we achieving try to achieving this knowledge, of course we have to rely and find the guru who have the great knowledge as well as compassions, and whatever the knowledge he or she the express, and we have to make sure that we completely able to realize that knowledge, and not only that contemplate on that knowledge, and ultimately we can use this knowledge in order to achieve the goal we wish.
근데 다 띄어만 란치기 예배 때문에 흔든 이거는 땅 알아서 리튼들 정도 토요 리튼들 미 리튼 들부터 잡을 때 봐봐 마르시와 돈과 근데 시요 때 임발라 단당 알아서 미 리튼 토바던지 ingewayo mara mi kashila sosogo a ma chanro te tamba tambo sawo mewa shenna moko wa te mongbo yongbo tende ma yamba jo wongbo chazong changde de la ne soso la ji jia rang ro chazong yong ge kashila rang mewa no tende ge ni ji yak tong tende zai yong cha tende chen yong tende ma yamba chazong zi ji to ga rang ju yo be dandang ga ni tende de zi yo te ka chen ba te ngo shi ko kore ngushe di donda ngandri rang gilti yagos tobda dang pechu tong nimsi melajin pechu yagos tong lamkha yagos rot bayin rot gogo samne tu samlo tang ena sonji chomde de rang ni rang den goyang ge rang ni rang ge ga yang yin je de yang sam tong na ane liten de la de ngarang lamkha kwa ro de ngarang su lo ba yore de ja de so ji ma de shi go yore
And and the second is the second verse is introducing the precious the human life we have, and it is kind of like uh, uh, the precious human life. It is very hard to achieve, even though we achieve the human body. But we could see there's some some people, and they have some sort of like disorder, and cannot speak well, and cannot do well, and so on and so forth. But we are kind of fortunes that we don't have that kind of like the conditions, so we can able to speak. Not only that, we can able to understand and understand the meaning of the knowledge and so forth. And but once we have all of this able to speak, understand, and physically and mentally is fine, but again, they depend on where individuals live. Some, even though they physically, mentally are fine, but they don't have a control, and they don't have a free to practice and speech and so on and so forth. They are being kind of controlled by others. But again, when we compare to them, we are very fortunate. Not only physical, mentally are fine, but we can freely practice whenever and wherever we are. So this is really talking about the precious, how precious human life that we have. So when we realize that precious human life we have, so what's the next is the make sure we don't waste this precious human life and take it as an essence and use day and night the in order to achieve the goal you wish, and so that Buddha quote that you are your own master and you are your own enemy, and so you can use that quote and as a fortunes being by making yourself as a own master and avoiding the enemies and so forth. So second verse it says the understanding the precious freedom of this rebirth is found only once is greatly meaningful and difficult to find again. Please bless me to generate the mind that unceasingly, day and night, takes its essence.
또 닝츠메라 냠슬린 터에나 디 실러브리다 돈다 도도
Yeah.
됐어요.
So once you're really able to engage and take it as an essence and able to succeed, and I think this is the real blessing. Blessing.
근데가 이거 다스 바드마 리스요와 치쇼를 니든지 기초하던 바 휴이지스 리당 점마전 가르는 렌드시 정말 니와 탐벌니 이거 더더보다 더 신기로 솔로까지 된다고 어디 냠된다고 그러지.
And the third verse and the fourth verse has to go together, which is this life is as impermanent as a water bubble. Remember how quickly it decays and death comes. After death, the effects of black and white karma pursue us as a shadow follows the body. Finding firm and definite conviction in this, please bless me always to be careful, to abandon even the slightest negativities, and to accomplish all virtuous deeds.
단지 갈수록 나네 아우 근데 리자 전부 요르다스 그런 요한테 배조 마땅하나 때 니마치가 매와 차로 그래 또 니와 매와 차한테 땡기다 그래서 얘는 같이 매와 차는 하고 말이지 어때 좋았던 거지.
So here, if I simply explain, here it said, "Hey, you have and you got that fortunate life and the human life, and but it doesn't mean it is permanent. Soon it will show the impermanence. It's not certain that it will stay forever, and and uh, so it is definite that the impermanence or the losing that very fortune is sudden, and so this is what it clearly shows here.
또 이밀 총이밀어요 좀. 그래서다 다 시야에 와도 또 시야에 세대 세상나 가려용 그래도 다 자데 매와 작성을 해주는데 때 말다 이 영계와 좀 봐. 랭고 요레스 저와 좀 레나다 시위지 리당 좀 맞은지 다 아노 리나 레바나지 어떤 잔을 랑서 좀 마셔 원하지 저와 시마 저와 강알레나 텔레온도 좀 델 신데라 레 카르스나 잠보스나 잠보 원디오 데와 등을 레 남바스나 남바근 저 등을 어디 용걸 다세 네 카르나글린디 시지 정와이 어떠지네 때 그런 하고 거다 생겨 왔다 보이네 들리지 용지 보다 니와 섬낭 니와 담보 님바이나 가려나 다 타상 타와나지 봐도 소소 섬당네 다 소네 먹이 좀 것처럼로 소주 봐 마시면 청주 봐서 왜 청주를 섬당도 다 타모인다 방지 gewa tamoza lenchi tajong tawana bonga tangsi ge cho ta ta de per che bala jinda giwi cho ne so so dewa yong sa ga mano zo kang yin zang ga sama dewa do pa tang de mon do ba za dewa kang ni yong go re zwa tang na dewa so so gewa ji al yong go re gewa che kang da ji se gewa se so so samlo ya ko kalong ya ko ji ki ling ge sam ga shawa zang bo ji che na de gewa se go re de len dewa yong go re wa ta de ji go re 따뜻 같은 거 담을 수 때, 따뜻 같은 거 담을 수 있는 때 같이나 소소 링을 있으면 다시 당 거지. 가르치긴데 성도 양지 양지 당대. 근데 겨가지고나 왔다 좀 야월 소소 셈도 성도 남바지 셈랑 남바 좀 조방 남바지고는 된데 맞지 소소소 때 방거리 또또 씩 그러지.
Can you dun engine? Yeah. And the third and fourth verse is showing that the fortune life is we gain is certain that we will lose and the death will come. And when that comes, what happened? So we think, oh, then it's finished. No, it isn't. And so it will continue, travel to the next life, and what we call the future life or the next life. And so it really the karma that whatever we accomplish, it will trickle for the next life. And for example, it's like a the karma will kind of like produce its result, like a sun, the light. Whenever sun rise, it will produce its results of the light. Similarly, the karma result will rise, into next life. So, for example, karma. If you did good deed, and that your fruitions your fruition will be good. If you did bad, and your fruitions or the result will be bad. So that karma will pursue us, and like a shadow, and it will show the results of the karma. uh, and so the virtues, and when we talk about the karma, and based on the what kind of virtues we accumulate. And for example, if we conduct non-virtues, such as killing, stealing, misconduct, and so on and so forth. And so it's really depend on the motivations, and the actions, the kind actions we do.
괜찮다. 먹이치 본거 먹이치 옷 간다지 연구를 먹이치 옷 당고 될라네. 어 나스는 좀 녹다지네. 샘당도 나도 저 쇼 담보지 그래서 나와서 때 담보지 전에네. 알아 나 듣고 너 차가 나도 고근데 그래서 나선데서. 근데 나한테 가금은데 그래서 마가지 용거때 tellatine tella no pa kya go sabe samlo chi ngo te no sam je tere yong no sam nasam no sam lokta sam bote sam ni sawan ro tere si tella tene ne nga zo ngala tene samlo ti ang ga ngala tene jambala paro chikshang tang ta do ta tene go tella tene mang bo ta zen so so ya bo yong a jalla chi na go zo tene chet zen marwa ane 소소 야 마가 될 세마等你马高去控制了所边怎么玩？等你米全部有那地方的差多，我给了等你把那特性东的差嘛家呀。啊，你那东到没话，只米那种金城江面米蒙不了卡当的，你等着等你那些地处拖拉当的，这些的用过的些，这是做什么东西吧？那是那是恰当个我只能用过，但等你离了等你说出吧，但说说。착배한 거 소주바 마가외한 거 셰다온 거 소주바 된 용거지 아니 고마고야 되다 망쳐 착배한 거 다 착배 줘야 돼 망쳐 착배로 어떤 참 맞던데 용당로 된데 때라때 때라때다 소주 소 세는 송동나 자정 선 조지 치보나 가르잖아. 뜻이 뭐이 지시서 샘송 뜻이 맞독비 뜻이 뭐이 지시샤 저자 소수 샘송와 들이 옛날에 로종즈는 냠는 요 말이지. 잠깐 냠지야. 고요 말이 송. 뜻이 당당 뭔데고.
Hindi napsin di khalai ne
나슴세데 ngala de go chakbe ngong.
ole.
노슴세데 she당 ngong. 서 마가 ngong 소. 다 노바자 소셜 스파 노슴 ngong.
So here, here the two verses is really us to be aware of the actions we take, such as the uh, virtues and the non-virtues, and so there are 10 non-virtues. The Such as the three are the what we call the the three mental the misdeeds are covetousness, ill will, and the wrongdoing. And the covetousness is uh, arise due to the strong attachments and desire, and because of that we have a kind of distinguish. For example, I want this and I don't like this. I want this and that, and the ill will or the maliciousness is the mind that want to harm others. So it's caused by the hatred, and the third is the wrong view. And the four verbal. So there are also four verbal mistakes, such as lying, uh, uttering divisive talk, harsh words, and gossiping. And because of the jealousy and so on and so forth, we often gossip here and there and make problems, and also uh, because of the hatred and anger, we often use the harsh words, and also the and also we create the we make the deceive commitments or the such as lying and so forth. So these are the four the verbal misdeed, and the last three are physical misdeeds due to the hatred and anger, and sometimes out of attachments uh, we involve in the actions called the killings, and and also the uh, and the taking what is not giving, and engaging in the sexual misconduct, and um, so this all the really happened because of the not controlling one's or not subduing our mind, and Tsongkhapa Songra,
조지 치모.
in the Shantideva, and in his book mentioned that no matter what you do, as long as if you able to subdue and control your mind, that is the greater benefits.
야, 네 디바로라 가도 디 대랑 프레초 테스 곰스 자곰스 테스 근데 삼동네 곰지네 가망 주스 곰지 디치고 되는 저틀 치고서 난 아주 망아 마시네 배동 말도 정말 sem나데 하고 가지고 근데 주는데 비싸지 못하나 요건도 섬이 저거도 되고 있어.
Okay, let's stop here, and let's do meditations for 10 minutes. And so really, instead of going detail of this textbook, if at the end if we didn't get any kind of information that we can carry back to home. So I think it's a waste of time or useless. So I really want to visualize or the analyze that what we just discussed, and not only that, able to understand or have a realizations that what we read, what we discuss about. So we'll do this 10 minutes. I'd like to take questions if you have.
There's gumdro kadajang songs. There's some share.
Any,
Draw method.
if you don't have questions, would you like to share about your meditations and any comments?
Oh, I was struck by something, and I know that we all have kind of different, we all have, this is a jigsaw puzzle and we all have pieces to put together. one of the things that I was struck by is when we think about the foundation prayer and the way that it starts with the Venerable Guru, it reminded me of how in worldly activities, when we're about to go on a giant path like this with an aspiration of growth, that sometimes it can be helpful to have a mentor model or someone who we're kind of aspiring to be like at the very beginning to kind of say like, it is possible. Look, there's someone that I could maybe it'll take 50, 20 years, but there's someone who's done it. And, kind of have that model in mind in worldly activities. So there's something really beautiful about starting with that, even as a possibility. That's it.
근데 저도 맛있다. 그런 게 Okay, thank you. Yeah, if you have any questions or want to share about your meditation we just did or any comments, please raise your hands. And while I'm talking, and anyway, I will keep continue my talk.
처음 맞다 봤고 때랑 되게 삽질로잖아. 처음 맞다 봤지 똥처럼 처음 맞다 봤을 때 아주 안 좋거나 기분이 아직다 레지로. 디나다 메나르 당하고 네워드 문도준다 킬링 거 가지고 차도 그랬어. 때가도 내리 차도 그랬어. 그래서 삼삼한테 삼노도 앞에 판독 첨부 용거 등하러 넣었어.
And so so today actually I read it from the very beginning and briefly talk about each verse. But today really the subject is subject is about the life is as impermanence. And impermanence, I know like when we talk about the impermanence, death, and it is certain, and so on and so forth, it might be the sound is not melody, not kind of sweet sound, and we try to avoid this kind of reality and so on and so forth. But whether we don't like it or we don't want to kind of accept, but it is the fact, and it's better to accept. And I don't know for you, for me, to analyze and accepting the life as impermanence, and often kind of keep kind of touching on those kind of like the notions of the knowledge of the impermanence is really helpful to me.
그래서 나로 똥치겠다. 저촉서야 되네. 저촉이다 니 되네랑라. 저촉들라 되니 욕다지 용요 바르듯이. 그럼 또 짐생 가지는 아주 미참. 삼스만 더 봐. 나로 무일치 요를 때 직바를 대완도 받은 대완 등만 도 봐도 직바다. 이나 대화 드ፍ통통 등을 마 세던 그 사무 가가서 미참 직보 말이지. 또 마음 배운 거 알아고 식식을다. 지금 욕다조하다 가땅나서 스파트데 네스 망보지 용거. 용에는 참참한 소수들이 사업했던 랭킹 못인 거는 뒤용다 망아 용거. 그래서 그 고에 나오다 지금 같은 것들 지지 미도 타만 가고는 시기로. 저는 남성 어떻게나 삼통로 때어 좀 기분이 어때? 아까 같은 랭킹 집에서 서로한테 싫은 것들 때 같은 거 배워 말던 share code share image ma chama chalo gure te sata te shita ke ya marte show che da da ni ni wa to ni toren jang yo mare sa ni marto ba shi ka ti shi ni mare ko shi ro nga shi ro ko shi sama share lo ya ba tang a주 chama yo mare sam te sam dong nam song ti sam no wa chi dong zhen ro ma kyo de nam song pa slay ro de shi
So reason is really helpful. As you know, the as a human beings, or we have to live in this society. So in the society, of course, there are all kinds of conflict problems we have to face and encounter daily basis, and as because of the each individual, uh, they have their own kind of like perspective and their own kind of like understanding and according to their lifestyle and um, of course each of us we all have the unique potentials. First of all, we all have the same wish they to be want to be happy and doesn't want to suffering, so that's the common wish we have. But different is that each of us we have a unique the potential, the way to resolve and or the solve the problems and the conflicts, and so that's why, because of we all have a different way to solving the problem, sometimes it's hard to confront or agree their kind of like thought and viewpoint and so on and so forth. But anyway, and because of that, while we're living with the society, sometimes we have to face all kinds of difficulties. Sometimes maybe people kind of against raise the against toward oneself, and say something bad about oneself and so forth, and especially people who are leading the society, or people who have a who are leader, they face more kind of difficulties than the individuals, because that individual um, have to be faced with all kinds of people as a leader, and and f- for example, sometime uh, uh, the I heard the like the gossips, or people kind of say something kind of bad about me, and instead of like keep thinking toward that kind of like the problems, and it's really, it won't resolve my the problems, the nor it will help to getting a better result, but instead it will kind of, I'm kind of like straining uh, the the ill will mind, or the bad mind. So instead of I'm thinking that way, I just kind of like flip my thought and think life as impermanence, which really helpful, because in the long term, I know that that individuals who is creating the gossip, he or she also won't stay forever. He or she is one day will face the impermanence, and also myself. Why I just kind of like strengthening the negative mind, because that very my life is also impermanence. After maybe after maybe 100 years, maybe myself and that individual will not be here, and so when I kind of educating myself like this, instead of just kind of feeding my negative mind, so it really helpful, kind of pacifying my mind, and arranging better the my path and so on and so forth. Yeah.
그랬더니 하랑도 딱 봤대 잠바지나 가르판 돌는 아주 낭미래 사청래 네 지금 냠때대 뒤축까지 내나 하고요 말 되게 맞아 가가 정보를 세도 당 가가 차요를 때때 이제 제 심한도네 가가 차요 근데 자 보다 띠랑 알아도 정말 주고 내고 지지지라 전부 탐보지네 되고 좀 상로도 시다 시체 뭐 용도 그래서
Mhm. And second, uh, second, I think advantage of the thinking of the life is impermanence. Uh, they is the able to live harmoniously, kindly, honestly with the family, with the loved one, and with friends and whoever you love, because we know that life is impermanent, and who knows tomorrow or next couple years we have that kind of fortunes. So that individual will try their best to live harmoniously with their family and loved one.
되는 게좀 동시에 저 좋아요. 저 하는 게 동시에.
Again, any questions?
I do have a question, and this has come up a few times, and I want to phrase it carefully. Any insights that you have to offer, because you made reference earlier about people who they're human, they're born into a human life, but maybe they have a disability, or maybe they can't see, or they can't hear, or something. They're struggling with something. Maybe they have a physical disability or a mental disability. And I know as an educator, in dealing with students who have had physical or mental challenges, and accommodating and doing what I can to make what we're learning accessible to them is so important, so that they feel included and they feel that they have something beneficial to offer. I'd hate to reduce it to just, oh wow, you must have been a horrible person in a past life, and that's why you have this disability. I think that's it makes me cringe a little bit when I hear that, because I know personally I've had students who had disabilities who have taught me incredible lessons about the capacity for joy. And if it weren't for working with them, I wouldn't have learned that lesson. So there are powerful lessons that come from that too. So if there's anything that you can offer about, or any insights that you have about those, and we all have something, even if we're not born with it, eventually something happens, and maybe we don't hear as well, we don't see as well. Things are impermanent too. So if you have any insights about how to react to lines in texts, in ancient texts, that maybe make reference to that.
돈으로 고송라.
Yeah.
다 조언에 뒤들지 당가도 지 미츠마 강한던 아주 요아주 레 넘버만 베수수 만도마 요리 나가는 동안에 대 몰음 잡아 지고를 장지고 말이나 나가로 많이 돈 바이나 많이 돈수 오만에 받는 또 돈도 좀 하고 그래. 저들 링어 있으면 강라 뭐 받지 강서 때가 양지 양서 고미 강서 뒤가 경험을 리 뜻바 가르치는 데 저것도 탐지 따가네 링어 있으면 샴당 양지 셰르 경호 여러 쇼주 이제 들라고니 만 야외나 반독심 뭐 여러 때 양지 공부이나 토마토 당하고 뒤창마 뒤강 세트고 말와 아또 뭐 야지마 또 용어 말
Now,
이 손에 소소티 양 강 세트비 니 당지요나 됐세나다 소 바로와
the wangpu chunjin yoraga,
그럼
wangpu chunjin na kashipe yamtsimbope and lobjung da ani mimangla chik samlo kodo da ani lobjung chingin do yosarle yores pena morang na de wangpu chunjin di chigin yamdo dewa chigin morang kimta mesen na pe ani pen lobjung da ani juro do pe ma pen to son andila ani gengi chik dila gen kyunang kiyan tik so peja na ingba dina de lapshan도 근데 인데 요나시
또 결정 지나데 상기가 누구 나나 지금 호마네 상기가 나나 개롱지 앞에 된듯이가 누구니 요 된듯이 게 냠부 요 된듯이 중얼스가 자 심지도 정말 그런 돈이 오셔서 그 가오요 말인데 게 냠부 좀 정말 가오지고 근데 상기라야 시네 그 간다지는 돈이 오차리 간다지는 게 냠부 차리 된듯이 망 그런 좀이 그룹 측에 접든 지정 할 거. 접든 장소 아니 그런 티 바로야 접든 장이야. 기저 레벨서 그런 농어 만들어지는 그 참고 맞춰서는 그 바자 먹선 가당할 수 논이 좋습니다. 들으지네 배. 저한테 진짜 가당해서 띠코든지 겨와띠기 내면한테니 논이 차르세. 타마타마티 접든도 여고 차르시니 자성 러럽 정도 셈 그것은 난가와기르세. 가와기니 그런 띠고라. 당이 자성 레가 치트 맞는데 이나 당이 산두지야세. 주냐 라냐모 주저지 접든 띠고라 따라서 나면 뛴다면 그때 그걸 끼냐 뭐 차서 되잖아 미 로스 로 원무 존치나 카시티 나나 배워 랍징 소소 조항을 밀리 잠바지 그때 그 종에나 그런 근데 니와 통다 맞는데 용기 그렇지 다 뭐 많이 리 남행 강을 중국어 쓰고 동아랑 소티 다 산지는 공원스물 더 조항하면 토마스만 셰트 볼 동아랑 소티 더즈 셰트 볼 말이라
Um, so the first Gishula said the um, maybe maybe we understand what you said, and as a human beings that we all have all kinds of the worry or the suffering, and and uh, and but we cannot reach each of individual and help them, and but sometimes simply what we can do, like when we practice and generate the great compassions and love toward all sentient beings, especially people who need it. For example, we can say the or we can recite the compassion mantra, uh, which has a huge and the powerful and a blessing, and or just the meaning of Om Mani Padme Hum. Om is the represent the body, speech, and mind. So whenever we say the Om Mani Padme Hum, and you just make a wish and on from the bottom of your heart that may sentient beings and particularly who need it, may they be able to transform into the great compassionate and loved one, and so on and so forth. And but second, Gisela said, yeah. So there sometimes there's some people, even though they are this ability, but these have some sort of kind of unique gift they have. And let me share you the story during the Buddha time. And so there was a ordained monk, a fully ordained monk, who looks very ugly, but his voice is very sweet and very good. And but anyway, out of curiosity, one of the student or the follower asked the Buddha why this monk looks very ugly, very very ugly, but his voice is so sweet. Why? And Buddha said, once upon a time, in his previous life, and he was accompanied with a group of people who are building a stupa, and before it's finished, almost finished, and they had a disagreement, and then they say something bad about the stupa, because of they have a kind of like a disagreement, and because of the he in his previous life he says something bad about the stupa. That's the reason he this life his body physical was very ugly, and the reason he has a sweet voice because after the completions of the stupa, and then he was really happy, like, oh, out of joyfulness, he said, "Oh, what a beautiful stupa we built, and here the bell." So he brought the bell and he said, "I want to offer this bell to the stupa." So they hang the stupa on stupa. So because of great joyfulness about the completions of the stupa, and he, out of generosity, he offered the bell. and that's why he disliked, even though his physical is very ugly, but his voice is very sweet.
오케이. 라스 다 공다.
So Gishila said, "Sorry if it, reply is right for your questions." Yes.
My practice is a lot easier if I just stay in my house. Do we have an obligation of some kind to, like, keep up on the news, or it's, like I say, it just seems like it's a lot easier to avoid interacting too much in the world. But is there a negative aspect of that? I mean, I hear about these guys going in the mountains for 15 years to meditate. That's starting to sound pretty good. Is that a sound approach?
거기 the korangi the nyamlin the pe level de sha fa is the nala de sha nala nala de ni ta nang de ta cha wang bu che yora the news stand and de che ani nala de che ani chi la de khari chung yu na ta nyora da me de yora den de la ni dong le ma chi chen won ta ya ma chi chen de sha na kan de na ang zu gen du ji yora kan de na do se 야 초진이 빼나 대화 미지도 코 로총아래 아니 리드 타본데라 아니 곰견 대샤 두스도 스마트페 할레와 양츠무시레샤 이나 더 덴데루 치고나 가리나스다
그래 직통 지난 알아도 어찌 총능네 뭐 어지간도 망하지 뭐라 꼴찌 능라데 특마도 슬로스는 다존에 수sen 정말로 강을 쏘거든 꼴찌가 마자 다 노트 저도 거지 때때나 나도 능라 솔로 수 능라 기부 지는 정도지야 매지 쿠슨숨 지대트나 때 안가 당보르지 다 야워르지 야 때리 양지 꼴찌가 능라데 주고 많이 봐 지용 겐로키니 어떤들이 지나때 나도 저 총들은 링겐지로 링겐 뜻을 쳤던 거랑 다 약을 머리를 가려나 지금 정도 가는 샤드식이지 소수 샤와드 레당지니 강을 만들어지니 깔리 잡죠 또 바바 전부 남나지나 냠는 거지 요 또 전부에는 슬로송 판독지하다 남나 좀 로지한테 용고 뜻이 용 거지 아 르바로 남나 조레다 어때 용다서 슬로송 용다서 나고 서로 진대타나 랑 기부 전 용다면지 야오르지 다 텔리 랍종나 슬로도나 밀라 펜토치 타와지 종고나 텔라테니 같이 지고 때 니와르스라 르톨로 송도 진짜 직도 지나가랑 르톨로 송데 남는 능라데나 샘라도 고엽탐네 샘트 야기 땅니 샤바당 장지 컴퓨터 땅 타와이나 네 강데 잡으려 말이지 아니 슬로데오 진짜 르톨라 델자 장바라 지다도 그렇게 인치면은 저 슬로데 되어도 나 그런 냠는 데 가고 봐. 나 그런 송 냠는 지능은 직등 인디기 샤와 좀 막방지네. 근데 냠는 지는 또 무슨 소바르지. 진짜 말라리 와서 돼. 들리지 그래서. 말레트나 코라냥지 코레트나 말라냥지 뜻이고 말라 아주 때나 말라리와 있다. 국가기메야 요 지네 때에 딱송 사체 그 모습 뭐 되되어. 말라리 그런 거 알아서 때는데 알아서 내가 지나들 그 냥지고 나 세무나 페트와지 판도 근데 잡을 지금 슬로우 내점지 요요 말을 더 주스 되되어 있어. 세무나 조합에 있는 건데 좀 냠는지니 되다는 게 음식이지.
Thank you for your questions and so there it's really depend on the individuals so in this society there are all kinds of people it's really depend on the individual motivations and their capacity and so on and so forth for example some group of people, or some people or some individual, they're better stay home than going out, because if they go out, they make a lot of problems. You know, fighting, taking drugs, alcohol, and stealing, and fighting others, and so on and so forth. So those people better, stay home, so he or she makes less problems. And but the other hand, people or group of people who are maybe better go out than stay home, because they might have a great capacity to serve society, such as such as charity, and helping poor people, and do all kinds of things, to serve other beings or the sentient beings. So those people maybe, if if you can, maybe go out more and interact with people, and change their life and help them, and so on and so forth. So this is Buddhists we consider as the path of the greater capacity, or greater the vehicles. And so yeah, so then it's really depend on the individuals, their motivations and capacity. And yeah, it sounds kind of like good, when we see the people who spend their life in the mountains. Sounds amazing, uh, but we don't know what's going on inside. And no matter how high mountain and how deep jungle or wood we deal, and if we cannot subdue and control our mind, so it's useless. And so no matter where we stay, like whether we uh, whether we stay in an isolated place, or we live in the house, or maybe among you know the society, as long as we are able to control, maintain, and subdue our mind, that is the importance. And for example, living in the society and able to uh, eliminate and abandon the things that create the all the negativities, and so forth. For example, like a Melaripa, when we look at Melaripa's story, it's really amazing. He's not only just stay in the mountain, but he really able to, subdue and his the mind, and able to abandon all the activities, and so forth. And the there's a funny about the Melaripa story. They said uh, um, Melaripa have a great sympathy and compassion toward the society, but society have a great compassion, sympathy toward the Melaripa, because what it's saying here, as a ordinary being, when we during that time, when they look at Melaripa, they feel so sorry. Oh, Melaripa doesn't have anything, almost naked, and doesn't have anything, and they have a great compassion and sympathy toward Melaripa. But Melaripa, when look to the society, he has, of course, compassion, because they even though they have everything, but they are in samsara, and stuck in the oceans of samsara, full of chaos and suffering.
소 가서 삼루당 거 삼루당 소소랑 거 지타바기나 다데 삼루당 데 파피 주당 데 상냥 지금 시고레스 지 못타바기나 때라 같이 네 쇼지기 전에 용다요 되다 다 조지시면 같이 지서요는 때라 뭐가시 같이 시면은 줄라면 같이 팬셋 되지네 지나 배 요건 동안로는 데 요건도 이제 한 미수 삼루 와요.
So it's really up to individuals, and uh, uh, individuals' motivations, way of thinking, and capacity. Otherwise, if we if whatever task or path we take, if it's beyond our capacity and the knowledge and so on and so forth. If we try to jump on that high level, and then we might fail in our practice. So it's really depend on the individual what kind of like capacity and he or she have. And for me, the great Shantideva master in his book Bodhicitta Way of Life, it said that if there is a remedy and why you worry and just go ahead and fix it. But if there's no remedy or beyond my capability, again, why you worry? Just ignore it.
Yes, watching the news can be quite stressful and cause a lot of anxiety and worry. So, the Tibetan doctor that comes down here,
Mhm.
I wasn't even telling him how I felt about that, but he just told me, don't watch the news more than once a day. That does help.
Kod mo dila warta
Wala.
di sanjurta na pe nyora chumbu jire sanjurta wa na ni semna kanyi mambuchi tengu do ni pe na amchila pe tudu samani amchila kono di kanyi di she amchila sena ani sanju mangu mata maybe nimachi da temachik ni tana ya ko mangu mata la do sa.
그래, 그래. 사실 좀 말한 사실 니 같이나 차단 거 근데 라니 다 거지. 러시아다 이거리 같이나 사실 생각 뽑아 포지션 그거 되게 같이 연기요. 등이 sem나나 딱 같이 니 sem나 러시아 이거리 특수 당도 삼 등이 sem나 같이 요. 자꾸 러시아 뭔가 좀 보시는 거 가면 들어. 동전에 등이 연화 차단으로. 나다 선배교를 때 나다디 소소 sem나 양정도 하거나 somebody 용어 뜻이 서로한테.
Yeah, that's true. Watching too much news is also kind of conflict, create a lot of conflict within our
차단기는 것이 돼.
mind, especially it creates the attachments and aversions. So I also watch news quite often. So there's one young Tibetan guy who posts on YouTube about the Russia and the Ukraine conflict or the war, and I watch this every most of the time. And when I watch it with the strong attachment and aversions. I have an attachment toward the Ukraine and I have aversions toward the Russia, and I have a really I'm really mad about Russia, and of course I shouldn't do that, but. When I watch this, I shouldn't watch it, but I have a feeling of I need to know what's going on, and in order to know, you have to either you have to read or you have to listen news. So that guy speak Tibetan, so it's better to me to understand. So I always listen his news on YouTube.
sem나 고 같이 나다 만삼바지 제송 좀 되는 서로 용어 뜻이. 그걸로 특수당 거 sem나 줘라.
So anyway, I have it's planted in my mind that the the bigger the group people kind of bullying the small group people like Russia, always bullying Ukraine.
근데 내 걸 손잡이 주던 뜻이나 배무 멍고다 털고다 미멍고 쏘더라 로다이도르지. 근데 텐데지는 언제나 텐데게 쏘는 거거든. 그 쏘던한테 잠만 그 미점발로 로지트나 가려나 거기가 something 소리 뭐 그랬다 답심도 같이 돼.
And the second, I have a strong feeling this news that they use the ways tremendous the tools or the weapons which cost the maybe countless money, right? And if we instead of using this on this West, which create and destructions, create the huge destructions, killing and destroying school and hospital. If so, we're using this, why if we use this to, to the humanity, it might be more beneficial, I think. So I have a very strong feeling also toward this.
근데 이 마음이 또 사마로 파마 요로 소소랑 이들 번개나 그러지 올 소라 듣는데 배 소로 넘어요.
and and then also I have a very strong feeling that each of the army, they have their own parents, mother, brother, sister, and I also have a strong feeling what happened with them.
우리가 마음이 담아는 거 세바 동영만 또 자동으로 보는 것이라.
So when I look at the army, I don't have a attachment and aversions. I look them as equal.
처음은 영어지
Whether it's a Russian army or Ukraine army, I just look them equally. That what happened with their parents and their brothers, sisters, because they don't have a control. They've been ordered by their boss or their leader. So sorry for sharing my sad feeling. Yeah. Okay, now we'll say the closing prayer on page number 80, 80. Okay, yeah, you can see.
Thank you, Geishla and Tempa. And thank you, everyone. If you would like to donate for this teaching, it would be greatly appreciated by the monks and the monastery. And you can do this by calling 812-336-6807 or by emailing the center at tmbcc.kcl@gmail.com. For those here in the temple, if you would like to give a donation, it would be greatly appreciated. And if you cannot do so, just a prayer or a mantra in the bowl is perfectly okay. All right, thank you.
Lo me ma do ye do wa na de ya le wang bo da ji de ma so de che John be yang yu te be Jesus da be re ma gon song lam ji jo ni ne de be ya na ne ji ye je shen do be lang ye shu da ze zhang wei ta ge do wei ye ye mo ma sa ji Yahweh dan ba yu dan dan ba re jen cho di ma cha 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 yang er jer we sho de 要解决不有
공부는 왜绿色是吧？这个是，你告诉我。
water, okay, water was that good.